What is an array? Array is a linear list of elements which has the same data type. So the arrays are mainly used for when you have a collection or a group of same type of elements or same type of objects, when you want to play around with them, or when you want to inserting, deleting, modifying, when you want to do this kind of operations on the group of objects, we will go with the array. The memory allocation for array is like when you declare an array, it needs a continuous memory. It needs a continuous memory. It is not something like I will store some piece of data, some other in the same memory. So I'm talking about in the same memory. Let's say this is the memory. If you take this is the memory, your heap memory, it is not something like I'll store one here, I'll store two here, I'll store three here, store four here. It's not like that. It needs a continuous memory to store all the elements. This is how the memory allocation will happen for the array internally. So to access the array, to access the elements from array, to access the values from the array or an objects from array, you have something called indexing. You have indexing, something like position. Indexing is nothing but position. Zero position, first position, second position, third position, and so on. The positions will start from 0. In array, the position or the index will start from 0. 0. Suppose I want to get the element of the second element from the array. I need to say array, a name of a variable and the position of it. What is the position? It's the second element means it starts from the 0, so -1. Suppose you want the second element means second minus 1. So you have to pass array, you want nth element, so then you say n minus 1. So why? Because it will start from the 0. It will start from the 0. Are you guys able to follow what is an array? Are you guys able to follow?
Yes, Veera.
So when you want a group of elements in a single place, when you want a group of elements in single place, we will go with an array. So that is the first advantage of being no, having an array. So what is the second advantage? As I said, to access the values from array, we have something called positions. That's called index. So the index help you to, suppose you want to put some value, suppose you want to insert some value, you can insert by specifying the position. Suppose you want to delete some value, you can delete by specifying the position. Suppose you want to modify some value, you can modify that value by specifying the position. Or you want to retrieve the value or access the value, you can use by position. So that's the advantage of having arrays. So the first one is code optimization. The first one is code optimization. Instead of creating, um, let's say I want to 10 elements. Okay, let's say I want 10 elements. Element 1, element 2, element 3, and so on. Element 10 I'll declare. Instead of declaring 10 statements, anyway the both are same data type, you keep them in array. So I have optimized my code. Single, you just declare like this. And when I want to retrieve, I no need to specify the value like this, variable 1, element 2, element 3, like that. You just say the single name, which is array, arr, whatever the variable name you give while declaring, and specify the position. So you can get the value of the specific position. Not only getting the value, you can modify, you can delete, you can replace, you can do any type of operations on that specific array. Okay. So is there any limitations you see in array? Do you see any limitations in this? Anyone? Anyone? Sunil, Saraswati, any limitations of array?
No, no, Veera. N number of elements we can store.
So no limitations. No. Any disadvantages of having array?
Yes, we have the disadvantages.
Okay, what are they?
We can't store multiple data types in array.
Very good. We cannot store different type of values in the array. Okay. Okay. So the first limitation is it is a homogeneous type of elements only you can say. So it means you can store only same type of elements. And the second is the size is limit. Yes, Raghu, you are right. The size is limit. Once you declare the size, you cannot change the size. It means you cannot give more elements than that. It is not automatically grow. Your array is not automatically grows. The size is fixed. When you declare the size, or when you while declaring you can specify the size, while declaring you can give the values. Based on the values you will take the size. The size is limited here. The size is limited. It will not grow automatically. It will not grow automatically. Let's look at a simple example here. Let's look at a simple example here. I'm creating an array of 10 elements. Sorry. I'm creating elements of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, when I start inserting the values here, when I got a 11th element, I cannot insert. I cannot insert. My array has been limited there. That's the disadvantage of arrays. So how to solve this problem? We have something called collection framework in the util package. We will see that later while we are discussing about the collections. What is the first thing? Same type of data only we have to store. Second one is size. Now no auto grow. It's not automatically grow. Clear, guys? Any doubts till here? Any doubts till here? Any doubts still here? Okay, fine. So there are different type of arrays like single dimension, multi-dimension type of arrays. Single dimension means as we have declared single row. Single row. Single dimension means one dimension means single row. One row of elements. Or you can say it's a one row or one column, but it's really one row. When you declare a multi-dimensional, how it will take the values? So as of now, what we have seen is a single dimension. When you take a multi-dimensional, it says that row by column. So let's say if you declare by two dimensions, the first dimension is row, the second dimension is column. What is a two-dimensional array? So two dimension means you have some rows, and you have some columns. This is the dimension 1, this is the dimension 1, the direction 1, this is the dimension 2. This is the dimension 2. It means you have 3 rows, you have 4 columns. It means 3 rows and 4 columns. Actually it's a 2 dimension. So row dimension and column dimension. Row dimension and column dimension. We'll talk more about this. It's like when you'll go with multi-dimensional, when you'll go with the single dimensional, we'll see that. And So when you have only one dimension, like either it's column or row, we'll go with a single dimension. When you have a values like a matrix, so like you want the row by columns and rows, so we'll go with the multidimensional. We'll go with the multidimensional. So let's look at how to declare an arrays. How to declare an arrays and how to insert the values, how to retrieve the values. We'll just look at them. You can declare the values a variable arrays. You can declare the arrays like data type. You can take int. You can specify. Already we have an array. If you see that our programs every day, the day-to-day program, whatever the programs we have written, there is an array by default. Where that array is in your main method. If you see in main method, what is this? It is an array of elements, array of arguments. It is an array of arguments. Let's see a simple example how to declare a array, how to write an array. Let's take an example. I'm going to create a class saying that array demo with a different package. The different package com.vira.array demo. So I need a main method. I'm taking it. So let's see here. I'm going to create a simple array which has some integer values. Which has some integer values. Int a, you can specify like this, equal to, suppose if you want to declare size at the time of array creation, you have to specify size is like this. The size is like this. So you might have come from a C++ background. There where will specify int a of 10. But here in Java, it's a little different. In Java, it's a little different. So the square brackets really not matter. Like you can write like this, or you can write after a, after before a. So that really not a matter. You can write the way you want to write. The way you want to write. You can specify like this, or you can specify like this, or you can specify like this. You can do it. So that really no matter. But when you declare, if you want to declare the size of the array at the time of your array declaration, this is the way you need to declare. This is the way you need to declare. Suppose you want to declare an array. Suppose you want to declare an array, and you want to declare, you want to assign the values at the time of declaration itself. You have to do it like this. You have to do it like this. This is something like you are declaring an array and you are assigning the values at the time of declaration only. At the time of declaration only. At the time of declaration only. So now the size of this names is 3, which is fixed. The size of A is 10. The size of A is 10. Suppose if you want to put the values into the array which is A, how you can do such a way that array of, you want to assign the position 0, you can say position 0. So I'm specifying in the 10th position. Will I have a 10th position, guys? Will I have a 10th position here? Will I have a 10th position?
No, Veera.
So because the size will start from 0, the index will start from 0, so we'll not be having 10th position. So what will happen if I declare the 10th position? Let's look at here. Let's look at, guys. You have 0. You can also print the values by going through a loop, but I'll show you that how to print the through loop. Okay. And now look at, guys, what will happen. So I'm going to compile and execute this code. Let's look at what will happen. What it is telling? So what it is telling? Array index out of bound exception. Array index out of bound exception. You are specifying index which is out of bound, which is you are specifying a size or index which is out of your bound. Means out of your bound means your boundary is from 0 to 9, but you are specifying 10th one, so which is not possible. Look at here, line number 13th. If you look at the line number 13, here the problem is. Okay, we cannot specify the values which is beyond our boundary, right? Clear, guys? Now see. Okay, still it is a boundary error only, right? So I need to comment this as well. Value of 0 is 10. So you can read the values by using keyboard. That's a different, you guys can use a scanner as a class. So I want you guys to try reading the values. I want you guys to read the values. I want you guys to read the values through a keyboard. 1 second, guys. So I want you guys to read the values through a keyboard by using a scanner class or buffer reader class. Please Google it and find it how to read the file. So declare an array. Take it as an exercise. Declare an array. Okay, either names or integer type or character type, whatever the way you take an array, read the values from the keyboard and print them. So let me show you. I'm going to print some values here. How to print I'll be showing you here, and you guys need to know how to read the values from the keyboard. How to read the values from the keyboard. Let's look at here. For int I equal to 0, I equal to 0, I less than a dot length. There is something called a dot length and I plus plus. I'll show you one more issue here. Okay, a dot length I plus plus and system dot out dot println values of a of, you need to specify I is nothing but your index. Initially it is 0, then it will become 1, then it will become 2 and so on. Okay, let's try to print it. What will happen? Let's see. Because I have only one value in the array, let's see what will happen. What happened? The 0 to 10, from the 0 to 10, it has been looped. 0 to 10 times it has been looped. 0 to 10 it has been looped, but the only one value is printed. Forget about this, guys. So don't get confused with this. Now look at the first 0th position. There is some value called 10, and other positions the values are 0. Why it is displaying 0? Anyone? And Saraswati and Sunil, apart from these two guys, I mean, though those guys know, no, the Java.
Integer value by default 0.
Okay, okay, Saraswati. I thought others answered it. Yeah, anyone understand why it is 0? Anisha, Harika, Kishore, Raghu, why it is taking zeros?
Because it's an integer array and default value of int is 0.
Yeah, yeah, correct. Even that's what she was trying to say. So the when you declare an array, it will fill with the default values. It will fill with the default values. Okay, so irrespective of, as soon as you declare the size, it will occupy that much of amount of memory in the your heap. Clear, guys? Is this clear? So let's loop through. Let's loop through. Now we just loop through integer type. So let's loop through string for int I equal to 0, I less than names dot length I plus plus. You just print names of I. Let's look at guys here. So Java, J2E and Hadoop. So the size of the names is restricted to 3. Restricted to 3. So if I declare a string array, if I declare a string array, if I declare a string array, if I loop through string, if I loop through string, let's look at guys. If I loop through string, let's look at what it is printing. What it is printed? Null. It means, so when you declare an array, based on the type of array, it will fill with the default values. It will fill with the default values. Clear guys about the declaration, declaring the array? Any doubts? Any doubts about it? Okay, now this is the one way to print the values. And also one more question guys, if you guys look at here, if you guys look at here, I have declared I here, I have declared I here, I have declared I here. Why it is possible? Can I declare same thing multiple times? Can I declare the same thing multiple times? Let's show me one thing. Int id I have declared here. Can I declare again int id? One more time. It is telling the duplicate local variable. Duplicate variable. But how come I'm able to declare I multiple times? Here I have declared I, here I have declared I, here I have declared I. How come? How it is possible? Can anyone tell me apart from Saraswati and Sunil? Anisha, Harika, Kishore, Raghu. We have discussed this.
The scope is only for that block, for that for loop.
Exactly. The scope of the I is within this block. Within this block. So outside the for loop, so no one aware of the I mean others cannot recognize I. So that's why it's allowing me to declare any number of times I in the different loops. If I declare outside here, so if I declare int id here, I declare int id here. When I declare int id, the scope of id is within this method. Within this method, within this method, I cannot declare one more id. I cannot declare one more id because it's a local variable to that method. The scope of that id is within that method. So I cannot declare one more variable. The same way here, inside the loop, I cannot do this. Look at here. So in this loop, I cannot declare one more I because it's I already available. The scope of I is already there. So I cannot declare one more I there. I hope everyone is clear. Okay, so this is one type of way you're printing the values. I'm going to show a different type of printing the values. So that's called for each loop. That's called for each loop. Let's say string s colon names. String s colon names. Now because s is already declared before, let me say sa. Let's look at now. Java, J2E and Hadoop. Clear guys? This is called for each loop. For each loop. In the for each loop, you no need to specify the size of the array, or you no need to specify incremental. You no need to specify incremental. What it will do, it will take the array here, a collection of values. Okay, array, it will take the array here, the collection it will take, and it will automatically loop through from 0 to end of the size minus 1. I can say size minus 1. Size is 10, 9 times, 0 to 9 times. So it will loop through automatically one by one by one. You no need to specify size and you no need to increment explicitly. It will take care of automatically. This is called for each loop. This is called for each loop. Everyone clear about this? Any doubt? The for each loop?
Clear.
Okay. So now how to declare multi-dimensional array? This is what we have seen is a single dimensional array. Fine. So how to declare multi-dimensional array? How to declare multi-dimensional array? If I declare multi-dimensional array, how it will take? If I declare multi-dimensional array, how it will take? Let's look at guys here. So as I said, you really now matter how you declare. You need to specify the size. Let me declare, I'm declaring 3 by 3. Sorry, I'm declaring 3 by 3 matrix. So I'm declaring 3 by 3 matrix. It means I want 3 rows and 3 columns. I want 3 rows and 3 columns. Whatever I have declared here is 3 by 3 matrix. So let me take one more matrix here. Matrix B. Now how will you keep the values in it? How will you keep the values in it? Let me show you here. Now I have declared something like multiple dimensions. Let's say A. What does it mean? It is number of rows, number of columns. Let's take number of rows and number of columns. 1 and 3, 1, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. If you take, this is index, right? So let's take a column, first rows, 0, 1 and 2. And this also start from the 0 index only, right? So I have completed row now. I have completed row. Let's see a column, 0, 1 and 2. Now if I want to fetch the value of this, if I want to fetch the value of 1, so how will I fetch? So a of in the from the row, what is the position of it? From the row, what is the position of it? 0. From the column, what is the position of this? 0. So if I say a0 of 0, it means I will get first element. I will get first element. I will get this element. Suppose if I want to get 6, if I want to get the sixth element, can someone tell me? I want to get the sixth element. I mean, it's not sixth element, the value of 6. I want to get the value of 6. Can someone tell me how can I get that? Raghu, please tell me how will I get the value of 6?
A1 of 2.
A1 and 2. So what it is representing, in the first row, in the row 1, you select column 2. This is the row, you select this column. Select this column. So while assigning the values also the same way, guys. Suppose if you want to assign the value here, suppose it's 1, so you want to change to 10 like this. You want to change this value 60 like this. Okay, so this is multi-dimensional array. So take an exercise, create two matrix, read the values through your keyboard, and try to add and subtraction and multiplication. These three operations you need to do on a matrix. And how to print a matrix is pretty simple. You need to use a nested loop. So for the reference, you guys can refer the Java-T point. And you have an examples over there. And I request you guys to go through those examples and try those examples. Clear? So this is about arrays, and also you have something called array copies. You can also copy the arrays. We will see that after you guys finish the assignment. So how to copy an array from one array from other array, we will see that once you guys complete this assignment. Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts, guys?
No.
Okay, so if you guys have no doubts about arrays, then we will start something called string. We'll start something called strings. Are you guys clear about arrays? I want to see a 3 to 4 programs from your side. One is reading the values through a keyboard into an array. The first one, that is a very simple one, the first one, and print the values. The second one is matrix addition, matrix multiplication, matrix subtraction. Okay, so I want you guys to practice them and try to understand how to read the values from the keyboard in the Java and how to print them into a console using Java. Okay, so you can take any type of exercise. You can take, like, let's say, create one array and swap the values, reverse the values, or you can do, for each value of an array, alternative values you multiply by 10. Every alternative value you multiply by, so you can play around with, you can write any number of programs using arrays, so for your more practice. Okay, so let's start a string. So let me see what's the time, 7:30. So yeah, we'll continue tomorrow, guys. So we will continue the strings tomorrow. So I'll show you what is a string. So we'll talk tomorrow. String, string buffer, string builder. These three things we'll see tomorrow. String buffer, string builder, and string. So these three things we'll discuss tomorrow. And then we will, after finishing this, there is something called wrapper classes. Wrapper classes are nothing but your custom data types, not custom data, object data types. Wrapper classes, wrapper classes are nothing but you have int, respective integer classes there. You have something called long, respective object classes there. You have something called a float. You have respective float classes there. So like this, all the data types has a respective data types of object data types. So we will see them tomorrow, guys. And after this, we will start collection, exception, not collection, exceptions and collections. So that's it for core Java. And I'm not bringing here threads. Threads are not required for Hadoop. So if anyone is interested, we can take 1 or 2 sessions on the threads separately. Yeah, so that has been said. So if you guys have any doubts, please ask me.